Hi guys, welcome to another day of the end of the world. It's day number 3045. And yeah, today I want to talk about something that I'm really passionate about. It's actually learning new languages. I speak 4 languages. Well, actually, I would say 3.5 because I'm still learning Spanish. So it's more or less on level B1. And since I don't have much experience talking and doing like academic writing or anything along those lines, I don't count it as a full language that I speak. However, while learning Spanish, I actually realized how quickly I acquired the language. Namely, I achieved level B1 in just 6 months. And I was really surprised with this, to be honest. Even though I had known that I was good with languages, I hadn't expected such quick development. So today I want to share my tips how I actually learn a new language. To start with, it's not all bed of roses, and of course it's not going to be easy. It's very time consuming. It might appear to some of you that it's boring, but actually, yeah, it kind of is. It requires a constant work for you to feel really comfortable about the language, about speaking the language, about using it, writing, listening to it. You have to practice a lot. A lot. So what I started with, I had really wanted to attend a course, but I was like, oh no, I can't really attend a course not knowing anything because I would feel stupid. And of course, this is just my thing. You shouldn't feel stupid about not knowing language at all. It's just my, kind of twisted ambition. So what I did, I bought a book for beginners for level A1. It's How to Learn Spanish in 30 Days. Of course, let's get one thing straight. You will never learn the language in 30 days. I've seen so many videos on YouTube saying, oh, you can learn the language in 7 days. You can learn the language in 30 days. You can learn how to speak fluently the language in 30 days. This is bullshit. I've learned 3 foreign languages and it never took me 30 days to speak confidently. I think I'm in my 8th month of learning Spanish and I still don't feel comfortable all the time. Yes, of course, knowing English and Polish, helped me with acquiring the language because they have a lot of similarities with Spanish. So whenever there was no analogy between English and Spanish, then I could find it between Polish and Spanish. But it's never gonna take you 7 or 30 days to speak fluently the language. Hell no. Yes, you can learn how to speak fluently about a certain topic in that language in 30 days. That's okay. But there's no way you can speak fluently in all fields after just 30 days. Like, come on, this is unrealistic. Let's be realistic here. So I just want to keep you on this level of realism. So the book was Spanish in 30 days. And to be honest with you, I didn't learn the language 30 days straight in a row. I worked at that time. If you don't have a job, let's say during quarantine, you have a lot of time, you probably could, spend all those 30 days consistently learning and doing it every day. But since I couldn't do that, I learned 3 times a week. I would sit down to it, I would do all the exercises, and then most importantly, learn the vocab and grammar. But honestly, the vocab is the thing that you want to start with. But there's no point of learning the grammar if you don't have the tools to build an actual sentence, So yeah, I spent about 6 or 7 weeks using this book for the beginners to learn Spanish. At some point, I think there were last 3 chapters that I didn't actually focus on. I just took the vocab, I memorized it, and that was it. Because the book started getting a little bit unrealistic at the end. They wanted to teach me how to use the past tense, even though I didn't know how to build the present tense. So there was no point of me learning the past tense if I couldn't, speak fluently in the present tense. So I just gave up on that and I moved on to the next part, which is more vocab, surprisingly. I started using flashcards to learn more efficiently, just like I said, to have the tools to build a sentence. So there's a lot of apps out there with flashcards. I use the one that is called Fiszkoteka. Yes, it is a Polish app, but I actually managed to set it in English. and now I can just use the flashcards in English and Spanish. I find it easier because English and Spanish words have more similarities than Polish and Spanish. So that's why I put it in English, because it's easier for me to learn a language since I can see some kind of relevance between the words. The only downside to this app is that you actually have to pay for the flashcards. I ran into a good deal, so I didn't pay that much for those flashcards. But there's so much more that you can find out there. And if you want to invest money in it, that's probably better for you. But if you don't want to pay, there's tons of other apps that you can use for free. I'll do my research and I'll put the links right down there in the description of my video so that you can look it up and download whatever suits you most. So I had been using those flashcards for 1 or 2 months, and I hadn't spent hours on them because I worked at that time and I also studied, so I had only so much free time to devote for Spanish. But I used every opportunity that I had to learn a little bit every day. I would do it every time I was on a tram while commuting to and from work. Whenever I would make plans with friends, I would use the flashcards and just learn the new words. Or if you find it boring, you can always play some Spanish songs on your headphones and then look up the lyrics and, learn the words. In that way, you give your brain the opportunity to get used to the Spanish language. And of course, listening to music isn't as effective and efficient as using flashcards, but still, it gives you a kind of a nice break, and then you get to associate the language not just with, mundane cramming of the words. I think I used Shakira's songs in the first place, and then I would just sit on the train, tram, whatever, and look up the lyrics and see the translation into English or Polish. So yeah, I kind of tried to create different forms of acquiring the language. I didn't want to sit at the desk and just, write down the words and learn them, because I would have gotten bored with the language very easily. And I also remember learning these cheesy, corny lines from Latino songs and then coming up to my coworkers who also spoke Spanish, because some of them came from Spain. So I would come up to them and say, for example, "Nuestro amor es más fuerte que todo el mundo." And they would of course laugh and then would chat a little bit. So I realized that I always find funny ways of learning the language, something that would, spice it up and make it a little bit more funny, ridiculous, and so on and so forth. But there was more. So I really wanted to start attending a Spanish course. And since I already had some basics, since I knew the basics, I was thinking of attending a A2 course. However, I couldn't find anything in Warsaw at that time. So unfortunately, I had to attend a A1 course, but it was better for me than not attending any course at all, because I really wanted to, have circumstances to use the language to put what I had learned into practice. And so I attended the Spanish A1 course for 6 weeks, I think, two times per week. And it was pretty much what I had been afraid of. The course wasn't demanding enough because I had known that I would acquire the language very fast. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm an overachiever, and whenever I like something, I just strive for it, and I always do twice as much as I should. And I think that's why people hated me in high school. Because when I started learning German, I always wanted to step it up, and the rest of the class was always falling behind. And I was actually the only one who wanted to step up the pace and learn faster. And I asked about new grammar rules, new tenses, and so on and so forth. And everybody was so irritated since they already had problems with acquiring the language. But yeah, going back to our topic, so I took that course, and I, as much as I consolidated the knowledge, I didn't learn a lot of new things. That was also a good thing for me to, actually have the opportunity to use the vocab. And the last milestone of my learning Spanish was a course in Germany. I had applied for an Erasmus program. It's a student exchange program, for those who don't know. And I got in, so I moved to Mainz, which is next to Frankfurt. And yeah, in theory, I was supposed to study German. But the German schools are so cool that they actually allow you to study any kind of language if you want. They have special courses free of charge, which is amazing. I can't even understand it. So many people out there pay for learning the language, and the Germans just get it for free. Of course, you have to study at the university to get the course for free. But, in Poland, we don't get such opportunities to, learn language for free. It's not in your curriculum. You can still apply for it. That's why I love Germany so much. I really wanted to take an A2 course since I hadn't had that chance in Poland. I had to take an assessment test, and I was so scared that I wouldn't get into the group A2. I took that test. There were multiple choice questions and open. And literally, I wasn't sure of any answer that I provided in the open questions. And I was like, shoot, I'm not gonna get in. My answers suck. And I actually put what I thought that could be right. And then I got the results, and it turned out that I got into B1 group. I can't even describe the feeling that I got at that point. I was so satisfied yet scared and embarrassed, so to say, because that wasn't accurate and I didn't feel like I could take B1. So I talked to the teachers, but they wouldn't let me go to group A2, so I had to attend B1 if I wanted to attend at all. So yeah, this is how I got to my B1 group of Spanish, and the course was very, very demanding. I came there knowing only one present tense, and during the first meeting we already discussed gerund forms. And it wasn't learning personal pronouns or possessive pronouns. It was learning a new tense every freaking week. One sitting would last around 4 hours. It took place 1 day a week, which was Friday. And the teacher stopped at nothing. He just explained everything, the grammatical rules, the vocab, and then, moving on. Because one semester wasn't enough to make any stops and focus on the same topic twice. And it wasn't just 4 hours in the class. It was also 5 hours at home every week, or even more than that, of, sitting down and analyzing all the PowerPoint presentations, writing down things, doing online exercises, doing homework. And in those 3 months, I learned so many things that my head was exploding. I literally had headaches at some point. And I had moments when I said, okay, I can't take it. I'm giving up. I'm not gonna do that. Since it wasn't obligatory for me to actually, pass the final test, I was like, okay, let's just screw it. But then I thought, okay, how many people get such a chance to study Spanish for free? And the teacher was actually really good, really, really good. And I said to myself, so many people would have killed for that chance, and you have it right there, served on a silver platter for you, and you just want to throw it away? So I calmed down and I said, okay, constant work, you can do it. So yeah, week by week, I learned new tenses: pretérito perfecto, pretérito imperfecto, pretérito indefinido, the first conditional, futuro indicativo, and thousands of words. I started talking to my Latino friends and my friends from Spain in Spanish. Even though it was horrible, I felt so dumb at some point because sometimes I couldn't make a simple sentence. It did its work. And a few days before the exams, I FaceTimed them a lot, sat down to it again, to my notes. I focused on things that I had forgotten. And I finally took the freaking test. And as much as I didn't do so well during listening, this is actually the worst part ever. Listening is such a stressful exercise because you only have this one chance or maybe 2 chances, but it's so stressful because you can't just choose whatever you want to start with. You just have to focus at that time on that specific exercise. Many times I get distracted. I find it really hard to listen to someone who you can't see. 80% of your communication is nonverbal, so for me, it's such a torture to listen to audio and then have to fill out the gaps or answer the questions. But yeah, after 2 weeks, the results came, and I got a B on it, as did 3 or 4 other people. There was only one person who got a B+, but I was so happy about this because the people that I had attended the course with had been studying Spanish for years, and still I got a better grade than 80% of them. So what they had been trying to achieve for years, I had achieved in 6 months. I could say, oh, I'm a genius, I did this, and so on and so forth. But no, that's not about being a genius. This is about perseverance. This is about the hard work that you do consistently every day. This is finding creative ways of learning the language, giving yourself opportunities to acquire the language in very different ways. It's not sitting down at a desk for a week, learning Spanish words 3 hours a day, and then abandoning it for a month and not using the language at all. It's consecutive, constant, hard work. So, have you ever dreamed of acquiring a new language? You have? Then get your ass off YouTube and buy a book, download an app, or make yourself flashcards. Give yourself the opportunity to learn the language every day. It doesn't matter if you do it after doing commuting to work and from work or right after waking up. I acquire words very easily in the morning. And give yourself some time to make mistakes, to learn new words, and don't get frustrated. Just be patient and persevere. And after you think you're ready and you have the basics, attend a course. And if you feel that you can take an A2 course, I would definitely suggest you to do that. And if you don't, that's also fine. You can take an A1 if that only works for you. So yeah, this was me talking about languages, acquiring a new language. I hope you guys found this video very informative, very helpful. I hope you take it from me, even though I know I'm not an expert, but I did a successful job in this matter. And I think I can, suggest you something. God, I've been talking for 45 minutes. It's probably going to be like a 10-minute video, but yeah. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Please comment below what else would you like to see, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this kind of content. That was me, Polish Manners. So thank you so much for watching, and seguid queriéndome. Gracias. Adios.